Today's video is going to be the latest installment in our Madden Ultimate Team free ebook series. And what this series basically is designed to do is it's designed to give you a sample into what some of my paid ebook products are. And we're doing that by giving you a free ebook out of the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. We've been doing a couple videos so far, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the series. For those of you guys that are new to the series or new to the YouTube channel, I want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Cody, and our mission here at this channel is to make you better at Madden NFL 16, and we do that through a variety of different tips and types of content. And today we're specifically focusing on our MUT free guide, and we're going through the Kansas City Chiefs playbook, and we're giving you basically an entire offensive ebook. And right now we are taking a look today at the shotgun empty chief formation. If you guys want to check out the playlist, if you enjoy this series, you can check that out in the link below. I'll be sure to leave a link within the description. And also, guys, I'm going to link you to a very specific video that I really want you guys to watch. The only reason I want you guys to watch it is because I think that it's the most beneficial video that I've ever done in terms of helping you get better at Madden NFL 16. And so that's why I want you to watch it. So be sure to check that video out if you're looking to get better at the game. Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about the shotgun empty chief, and I think this is a formation that truly deserves a little bit more flair and kind of recognition, and I don't think it gets enough. So we're going to be showing you how to use this formation today. We're going to be teaching a couple of key plays here and talking a little bit about that. So the shotgun empty chief, the first thing that we want to understand is that it's a 3-by-1 set, which means that you can get to it from our base formation. We've already talked about how we use the bunch week as a base formation. We talked about how we use the shotgun Y trips week as a nice supplement formation. And now I want to show you today how we utilize the shotgun empty chief formation. So real quickly here, going to go ahead and get some subs in. We're going to get James Starks in and Randall Cobb. And obviously, of course, we're going to get Jordy Nelson in the game. Guys, I like the Packers this year for offense. I really, truly think they're one of the better ones in the game. All right, so the play that is really foundational to the to the scheme here is this play, Kansas City deep in. I think this is probably the best base play from this set. Real quickly, your quick audibles here. Unfortunately, you don't get the deep in, so if you want that play, you have to come out in it. However, you do get the KC stick and nod, which is another one of our key plays here. KC stick is another one we have. We're not really going to use this one. KC shot deep post. We're also probably not going to use this one. And then KC fork. This is a play that we will utilize. So, but first I want to show you the shot or the empty deep in. Now, this is a really unique play and one that I really think is very beneficial to your game. And what I like to do with this play is I like to make it basically a mesh type of play. And so what we're going to do is we're going to motion Jordy Nelson in to the inside. We're going to place him on a hitch route. And we're going to smart route that hitch route. And then we're just going to take James Starks and we're going to put him on a crossing drag route. Now James Starks is always our first read here against man-to-man coverage. As you can see, he's going to be able to get that separation. If you're looking in Madden Ultimate Team to purchase a running back for this scheme, I highly recommend Football Outsiders Theo Riddick for this position. He's very inexpensive, but he also has very good route running. The second read, if that read doesn't open up, especially against man-to-man, is a low pass lead to Jordy Nelson on this hitch route. As you can see, the low pass lead is a very nice trajectory for whenever he turns around. Basically, you just want to wait until his receiver icon lights up. Once his receiver icon lights up, that's when you're going to throw the pass. Now again, this is against man align and press out of the 2-man under coverage, which is, everybody's favorite coverage this year. The third read is the other crossing pattern here. You're going to see Randall Cobb. If you have a guy with good route running, maybe like a base set Keenan Allen or something like that, this play becomes really actually pretty deadly because that route running is the key to getting that route open. The final read on this play is basically just a little hitch route here to Rodgers as he releases. It's a check down route against man-to-man, and in my opinion, it does a pretty decent job actually. If you have nothing else to get against man-to-man, this route to Rodgers may be something worth looking into. You want to kind of throw it, make sure you throw it on time, But basically, when he checks out, you're just going to low pass it, and he's just going to sit down as a nice check down valve. And I really like this read, not just for man, but for zone coverage as well. All right, so let's encounter the next thing that they're going to do is probably going to run cover 2, quarterback contain. And cover 2, quarterback contain actually does a fairly decent job against this little play here. Our first read, as you can see, is still open. If we can make one move or two, we'll be able to get into that second level of the defense. But unfortunately, as you can see there, normally you're going to only get a couple of yards if you throw that route against the cover 2. However, on the next route, this little deep crossing pattern to Randall Cobb, you can kind of fit that in normally if you hit it quick enough. Really, the progression basically becomes Starks to Cobb, especially in a cover 2 scenario. So if you read zone coverage, you're going to say, okay, Randall Cobb, easy, hit him down in that middle, and he's going to do a really nice job for you. Another route that is really good against the cover 2 specifically, and quite frankly, this is really one of the best kind of proponents about this formation specifically, is that this hitch route does really good. It's like a spacing route. As you can see here, it's kind of a late read, unfortunately, and it is a little bit sketchy against the cover 2 specifically because the cover 2 has. Whoops, I bumped the timeout button. Sorry about that. We'll come out and pick that play. But the cover 2 defense specifically, it really does a good job against pretty much a lot of what this play has to offer. However, some of the other plays, like the stick and nod, it's not going to do very good against, and so that's why, you want to have this in your arsenal. But anyway, we'll show you this. So the crossing route to Cobb is probably your main read against cover 2, but you'll also be able to hit this route to Nelson if you hit it quick enough in the play. When we face zone coverage, I normally like to use the high pass lead against zone coverage. Just in my opinion, it works a little better for you on curl routes. But basically what this turns into is almost like a spacing type concept. But if you have a guy with good catching traffic like Jordy Nelson, this is going to be a really good play for you against that cover 2 defense. The next read on the play is this deep post route to Jones, and normally this doesn't. The only reason it doesn't work great is because of the pressure. Normally there's heavy pressure from. Let's see here. I'll try to do this a little better this time. You're normally not going to need to get to Jones because the curl route will open up, but if it doesn't, that means they're going to be in max coverage ideally. So this route to square, high pass lead that, and it's basically it's a really skinny post, and it normally does a pretty good job. It doesn't always beat the cover 2, so you definitely want to make sure that it is open before you throw it. But normally, once he gets inside leverage, I like to high pass lead it. Wow, there Brandon Marshall makes a great play on the ball, but normally, especially if because what I'm saying is, basically they're going to have to pick, and if they take Randall Cobb, so for example, if they take this middle linebacker and they say, okay, you're not getting Randall Cobb, because if Randall Cobb's open, you're going to throw him the ball. Well, they're going to have to take him away manually. What that's going to happen is then you're going to get this middle deep post open, because that middle is going to be voided because they're taking heavy coverage on Randall Cobb. Now, if nothing's open, guys, and this is what I really like about this play, is you always have a check down read. And this route to Rodgers, really, when he breaks out, it's just a little check down, if nothing else, and you can easily hit that route pretty much against every coverage. That's one of the real reasons that I picked this play. Unfortunately, the deep end doesn't work like it used to. It used to have these flat routes used to be a lot better. Now they work a little bit more kind of weirdly and not predictably. You can't really predict what's going to happen here. See how they kind of sit, and you're just waiting to hit them, and they just never release. So they're not very predictable. That's why sometimes I like to take them off. But anyway, so that's deep in against cover 2. Now, if all that occurs, then they may try cover 3. But cover 3, quite honestly, is very weak against this play because everything's pretty much open. Your crossing route to James Starks is open for a quick little read there. The other thing that begins to come open much more clearly is the deep crossing route here to Randall Cobb. and you'll see this crossing route. Basically, actually, no, they did a pretty good job there. But that distinction between the crossing route, like if they take the crossing route versus that deep post to James Jones here on the far left of the screen, what you'll see is this deep crossing route holds them down, and we can hit James Jones up that skinny post. Rodgers makes a little bit of an overthrow there, but you can work on that a little bit. You want to work with the timing specifically, but the idea is basically just when he cuts inside here, hit him, and as you see, it's a really tight window, but a good quarterback like Rodgers can definitely fit it in there. If you're on MUT and you want a budget quarterback, I recommend the MUT Superlatives Drew Stanton card. I find he to be the best budget card right now in the market. Oh, and then real quick, I didn't show you guys the route to Jordy Nelson against the cover 3. I'll be sure to show that to you. So Jordy Nelson's route against the cover 3 actually doesn't do a very good job, especially against quarters. But worst case scenario, try the high pass lead out. If he's covered, normally he'll at least make a play on the ball for you. So that's the first way that I run this play. The second way that I run this play in several different types of ways. But the second way in which I run this play is I like to take Rodgers here, and I like to put him on a streak, and then I like to motion him to the left. It's going to create a little trip set here to the left now, and I think this definitely will help this route. And then I like to take Jordy Nelson, put him on a drag, and Starks on a drag. It's going to create a little mesh, and basically the same kind of thing against man-to-man, those crossing patterns. If you want to leave Jordy Nelson on the deep dig route, you can. It's not that vital for you to put him on a drag. Sometimes he'll actually even get in the way, as you saw there. But the little drag routes are definitely the key here. The deep route to Cobb and then the crossing route to James Starks are really key against man-to-man. However, when we're talking about that cover 3, and this is what I want to say, like if you're starting to face that cover 3 shell, backed off coverage, and you go to this little variance of this play, then you're going to see that square becomes, well, we get intercepted there. Square becomes much more of an option normally against that cover 3 defense if you go like that. But it is kind of a sketchy throw, especially against quarter cover 3. Quarter cover 3 gives you an extra yellow zone. But basically right here and there is where you get that one-on-one. That's what we're looking at. It does take some time to develop, so do understand that, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. One of the key things to always think about is maybe potentially motioning James Jones inside. When you get that compression against man-to-man coverage, it normally does pretty good. So if you're struggling with man, so that's the deep end. I don't really do a whole lot else with this. The one thing you may do is take Rodgers here and put him on a little zig. If you put Rodgers on the zig, normally he beats man-to-man. You just need to have a hard pass lead to the outside. You don't want to just throw it regular. You have to pass lead it to the outside, otherwise it'll get intercepted. But just a hard pass lead to the outside, and he can normally get open for about 2 or 3. Maybe in a goal line situation you can utilize that. But that's pretty much it for the deep end as far as what I do. So I want to move on to another play. And really I only have 2 more plays to show you. This is kind of a short video. But the KC fork. And this is the play that we primarily are going to go to if they're calling a lot of zone coverage. So if you're seeing a lot of cover 2, that kind of stuff, we're going to go to this. If you're seeing a lot of cover 3. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take Rodgers and we're going to put him on a flat. Actually, the thing to remember with KC fork, these little light blue delay routes don't work the same that they used to. You see, they kind of stay in and block and then they release. But they used to have one of the routes basically set, block, and then release. It was really quick release, and so it was actually a really good quick little pass. But it doesn't work like that anymore this season. But anyway, what we like to do with this play is I like to take Rodgers and put him on a little flat route. And then I like to take James Starks. I like to put him on a slant. And I just want to motion him out to the left and snap him. So it's just a quick little motion snap to the outside. And you'll see that the slant does a really good job. Obviously, if the middle linebacker is in the way, you can't throw that. But The slant will do a really good job. If they call man coverage, you have at least one route. The route to our, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm in the deep end. Forgot to audible out. But so it's called KC Fork. And basically, whoops. The thing with the slant route that I'm finding is it's very important to hit it early in the route. The longer you wait to throw the slant, the worse it gets. So right when he cuts, that's when you want to hit it. If it's man-to-man, and you see it's pretty consistent. That's against Bradley Roby, who's one of the better slot corners, if not the best slot corner in the entire game. But there's that read against man, and then the other read that you may be able to look into is this route to R1, pass lead that to the outside. If they have really good route running, that's why that receiver is really important, to have good route running. But it's more for situations where they're like in cover 3 and in zone coverage. And in those situations, this play becomes actually really good. As you can see, this R1 route, we want to pass lead that up and high, but it's normally a pretty good way to beat that cover 3. We'll show you this again. So just pass lead him up, and you see it's going to be a nice little possession catch. So you can try that out. The other thing about this play, though, is if they go to, say they go to cover 2. Well, the cool part about this cover 2 is that the far right receiver, Nelson, is on basically a fade. And so it gets to cover 2. You could pass lead him to the outside, and normally he's going to get a pretty good animation that you can actually work with. Another thing about beating the cover 2, though, is this route to James Starks is actually going to be able to beat the cover 2 when he comes underneath it, right in this area here, as you can see. Okay, so that's KC Fork. I know there's not much to that play, but I do want to show you one other thing, though. If you motion snap Nelson to the inside 2 or 3 steps here, you'll see it's like an old fade, and it actually does pretty decent. It doesn't do great, actually, against man, but you may mess around with that a little bit, get some Madden 13 going on. It's a route we used in Madden 13 to get separation. But as you can see, that fork route, Rodgers must have taken his accuracy stats down. But anyway, that's KC Fork. It's just a basic zone beater. There's one other way I want to show you to run it, though. So this is like a max protection version. And what we like to do with this one is we like to take Randall Cobb and place him on a hitch route, and we like to smart route it. And then we just want to take Jordy Nelson and put him on a drag, and we're going to motion him in and just kind of snap him right in here. And basically, it's just a really good play to have good pass protection, because if they blitz you off the outside, what's going to happen is those blue routes are going to stay in and block. And I'm sorry, you want to put Nelson on a slant, not a drag. Sorry about that. But you bring him in, you just want to snap him right before he sets, and you're going to get that same type of feel. I don't know what's going on with for some reason this game is really finicky with the way the quarterback drop back works. I wish they would have fixed it. It really is pretty pathetic, I think. But basically, you want to step up in the pocket immediately. But it is kind of hard to kind of navigate the pocket this season. That's why I'm a big proponent of just basic rushes. I think they do a really good job. If you just call it dime normal, 2-man under, I think it's one of the best plays in the game. But here we are, as you can see. Now, the cool part about that, what you just saw, is that this is actually a really good play, because what happens is, if they go max coverage defense, the players that are guarding Rodgers and Starks are going to blitz, which makes them such a good check down, because once they blitz, you can easily just hit the flats and off to the races you go. Now, this is also interesting because if your opponent, so say your opponent, basically just does some blitzes here. So we're going to do a basic zone blitz off this left edge. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work necessarily, but this is basic zone pressure off of this left edge. And you're going to see these block and release patterns just kind of sit there, and then release. And you see once there's nobody in the flat to take them away. And that's really the kind of the idea with this play. And I think it really does a pretty good job, a lot better than a lot of people think. Now, KC stick, I actually do use this play a little bit for one reason and one reason only. If someone's running the Mike scrape pressure from the 3-4, so if you see someone really stacking their line a lot to the left side, Zan from Forward Progress Madden said that when you use plays like stick and quick passing concepts, it helps alleviate that pressure. And what I love about this play, stick specifically, is I can do some really cool things with it. So what I do is I take Starks and put him on a zig. I leave Rodgers on the flat, and then I bring Nelson on a little slant, and I fade Cobb, something like this, just basic route concepts. But the idea is that it just does a really good job for facing that scrape defense. That's the only reason I use that play. And then the route to James Jones on stick is kind of interesting. It's like a deep slant post, kind of. He does do a good job against man-to-man, so those are some of the real underlying reasons why I use that play. Okay, so the last KC shot deep post real quickly. Basically, if you smart route Randall Cobb's route, it's going to make it like this kind of like finicky little post route, but it doesn't really get that good of separation against man-to-man, so that's why I don't really use it. So if you want to mess around with it, be my guest, but I don't really use it. KC stick and nod, though, I do use this play. I think it's one of the better plays in the game. And basically what I do with this is I take my tight end Rodgers and I put him on a streak. And then I bring Jordy Nelson and I put him on a slant. And then what I normally like to do with James Jones, if I can, is I'll put him on a fade instead of that one route he's on. And basically against man-to-man, this play really becomes lethal. Basically your first read is this quick little zig. Normally it's not going to be open if he's being guarded. Like if they're in like quarters, 2-man under, where your running back's being guarded by a really good man covering guy, then it's probably not going to be open. So then you want to check down to your next read here, which is Jordy Nelson right across the middle on that little underneath slant route. And then after you read that route, you're going to look to Randall Cobb. So Randall Cobb, when he comes up the seams, is a classic route. It's not as good this year as it was, but it's really good against zone coverage, and that's what I wanted to show mainly. Is zone coverage. This actually does a really nice little job here. Basically, Cobb is going to be in a really good zone right over that middle, and that's what we're looking at right there, that little kind of seam valve. And I think that was against the cover 3. I like this play a lot more against the cover 2 than the cover 3. I think it does a little better. But basically, just pass lead up Randall Cobb's route, and you can see it gets in a really interesting void in the cover 2. So that's why I like that play. This is a basic guide to the gun 5 wide. It's very simple. What I love about it is that these block and release patterns out of KC4, these 2 flat routes, I think they're a lot better than many people realize, even though they're kind of iffy this year. What they really do for you, though, is they give you really good safety valves, and that's one of the reasons we use this. So this formation, though it's not used a ton, it does get used from time to time because I think it's one of the best pass blocking formations. And if you really wanted to shore up your pass protection, just bring Nelson in, and then you can really do some things that are really interesting. But this is just a really solid little package, and I truly recommend checking it out. So again, while we don't use this, every down, this is definitely something we do a lot of, and we do some cool. You can do some cool motion snaps with it and things like that. So I just wanted to at least draw your attention to it. One of the things that I think is actually really underrated about this formation is put Starks, have that zig from Starks, motion him out and bring him back in. And it's a snap throw. It's actually really good against man and zone, so you may check that out. But you want to do it from that play stick. The reason you want to do it from that play stick is you get that good pass blocking. And, it's just a little basic concept, but in my opinion, it speaks volumes. If you can hit this route consistently, and then you can mix in that deep end with that hitch route on the far right against man-to-man with those crossing patterns, this formation truly can become one of the best ones in the game for you. I think it's very underrated. It's not great against zone. It's not great against man, but it's one of those formations that's really good against the blitz, and I highly recommend taking a look at it. Alright guys, so that's the gun 5 wide video, and in conclusion, I just want to draw your attention to that subscribe button. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, I highly recommend it, because the whole goal of my channel is to connect with you on a personal level, helping you with the game. And we do that by basically, I just try to answer as many questions as I can in the comments, and I try to set up personal calls. And we're actually in the middle of a series, and that's what that video in the description is going to link you to. We're in the middle of kind of a transitioning phase in the Madden season, but what I would really like to do this off season is talk with you guys more, set up subscriber games, and really help you out. So the video below is going to tell you a little bit more about how you can play me, how you can get a free personalized scheme in Madden 16, and also how you can, in my opinion, improve your game the best